All right, ladies and gents, you're watching this video because you're frustrated at this point and you're ready to take a hammer to your Honda Rancher. I understand how you feel. So here we are. We've got, this is a 2006 Honda Rancher. I think it's the same for 04 through 07. This is a TRX400. It is different than the 350. So if you have a 350, this video is not going to be for you because it's slightly different. So what we've got here is an ATV that would not shift out of first gear. I could not figure out what was going on. It was driving me crazy. So I started with a few things. I changed up my shift motor. I changed up my angle sensor, which we're gonna come back to that in a minute. Changed up the throttle positioning sensor, which is up here, okay? And it still wouldn't shift. So then I got thinking, well, maybe the transmission's got an issue. Well, it didn't. So long and short, it ended up being the angle sensor. So I want to talk about that for a second. So here's the angle sensor on the TRX400. It's on the side of the motor, just to the right of the dipstick. You can't miss it. There's a big cord plugged into it. So here's what you need to do. So viewers won't come out of first gear. We're going to talk about a couple things. First off, here's the troubleshooting chart. I want to make sure that you guys are aware because it might not be the same exact problem for you. So if you've got a code 1, which I'm going to show you how to pull these cords up, there's the description, so on and so forth, all the way through code 13. Well, I had a code number 6 on my display, so I knew I had something going on with my angle sensor at this point. So if you're showing 6 blinking codes, which I'm going to show you how to pull that up here in just a second, you likely have an angle sensor issue as well. But it's not as simple as just changing the part. So if you're thinking of stopping to watch this video right now, you'll be back. So on your display, which this one's already been fixed, so you're not going to see it. So you're going to have to use your little imagination for a second. Right where the 1 is, you're seeing a bunch of codes. Let me turn on the light on this thing so that we can see it a little better. You're seeing 2 little tick marks right here. So when you first turn on your key, you'll see, one long little flash, and then you're going to see some rapid flashes. You need to count the numbers of the rapid flashes. So right here, those 2 ticks, you're going to see flash, then you see flash, 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 flash. You want to count the numbers of the rapid flashes. So if it flashes 6 times, that means you've got code 6. If it flashes 7 times, that means you've got problem code number 7, etc., etc., etc. So in this case, I had 2 ticks and they flashed 6 rapid times. And if you miss the count, you can just turn your key off, turn it back on. It'll flash at you the same exact way over and over and over again. So I'm going to try to shoot this video in one shot without editing it. So I knew I had an angle issue. So here, again, there's your troubleshooting chart. I'm going to flip open to a couple of these pages to help you, if you want to pause this video, you can read the initial testing procedure, which we're going to go through. So, step number 1. So after you change the angle sensor, which we're going to go through here, let's go through that first. So to change the angle sensor, it's not as simple as just unscrewing this bad boy and screwing in a new one, okay? So first off, I cheated and drilled 2 holes because I didn't feel like taking this thing off. And honestly, this Rancher's kind of been through a rough life, so I don't really care if it's got 2 little holes. But if you don't feel like doing that, you can take your footwell off and you'll be able to get to those Allen keys. So you're gonna take and replace, so take all this off, take those 4 bolts, this one and this one and this one and this one. This one holds it on to the actual motor, and the same thing with the one I like trying to show you, it's a little dark in here, my bad. Down on the bottom, that bottom one holds it on. So those 2 will take it off, and then the other 2 attach the sensor to the actual plate. And the reason why that's important is because, so once you take it off, you'll have this plate out. Just screw the new one onto the plate, okay? Just screw the new one onto the plate, and then when you're reinstalling this is really important, so pay attention. When you're reinstalling this, turn this whole thing 90 degrees, just beyond 90 degrees. So it'll be at a slight little angle like this. So this this electrical plug will be up here. Push it in and hold it in tight, and then turn it clockwise until it's at this angle. So it's going to turn just a little beyond 90 degrees this way. Okay, so push it in. Now at this point you'll have this one screwed in already. You'll already have the angle sensor attached to the plate. So again, attach it to the plate first, the new one, and put it like this with this electrical connector up, then turn it with it pushed in nice and snug, and don't release it. You should feel what feels like a little bit of a spring. If you were to kind of let go of it, that means that angle sensor is spring loaded now. Okay, so it should have a slight amount of tension on it, and that way you can test it, you know, just by kind of letting it go a little teeny bit, and you'll see if it feels like it wants to turn back. Then you know that you've successfully spring loaded it correctly. So that is the key. And then of course just screw this Allen key on to hold it snug, and then deal with your bottom one afterwards, which is a little bit more of a pain. But holding it snug in tight is important, because if not, it'll slide out and you'll lose your spring and you'll have to do it again. So you have to spring load it. If you don't spring load it, you're gonna be screwed, okay? So take time, make sure you've got it spring loaded. That's how you replace this angle sensor. All right, now beyond just replacing the angle sensor, you have to reset the computer, and Honda calls this the initial setting procedure. So we're going to talk through this for a second, but I'm going to show you the manual so that way you can have it. Initial settings, start the engine. So first off, back up for a second. Lift it up. If you can lift it up, put it on some blocks or a jack, lift all 4 tires up. Okay, get it out of the air, because you're going to need to move it around, and if not, you're actually going to have to move it. So just lift it up. It'll make it a lot easier. So start the engine and just let it idle for about 30 seconds. And if yours is a cold-blooded piece of crap like this one is, you might want to let it idle more than 30 seconds, so that way you can ensure that it doesn't die out while you're in the middle of doing this reset. So let it idle for 30 seconds with it in neutral. Move the gear shift lever to D. So move it up to D. So you started at neutral. Move it up to D while it's running. You want to make sure that it has the old D here. Okay. At this point, well, I'm an ESP, so you want to see the D. Okay. If you're not seeing the D, then you might as well stop right here, because that means that you didn't install the angle sensor right. So go back and do your angle sensor again. So then roll forward about 5 feet. So all I did was I just spun the front tires by hand and gave it a little bit of gas because I had it lifted up, and that worked just fine. So then move your gear shifter back to neutral. You should see the N. If you don't see the N, it's okay. If you still see 2 little tick marks, that's okay. Don't worry about that, because I did at first. All I saw was the 2 tick marks, and I was like, oh God, I must have screwed something up. That's okay. So then turn your ignition switch off. Move the drive mode to auto. It's fine if it was already in auto. Don't worry about it, because I also thought the same thing. And then turn the ignition switch on while pressing both up and down switches. So press and hold these. So the ignition should be off. Press and hold these, okay? Now this is where it gets important, so pay attention. Press and hold them, then turn your key on, okay? And then immediately, as soon as you see the N blinking, so what you should, I'm not gonna do this because I don't wanna mess up my computer that I just fixed, but this N will start flashing. Once you've held these and turned the key on, it'll start flashing, okay? Then let go of these, and then you're gonna do something real quick. You're gonna go up, down, up. And while you do that, as soon as you do that, you're gonna hear this motor start making some noises, okay? Here's the critical thing. As soon as you do up, down, up, you need to take your throttle and push it all the way in and let it all the way out. You got 5 seconds to do this. So again, hands on, up and down, turn the key on, up, down, up, throttle, in and out. And then you're gonna hear and making some crazy kind of noises. You like that, huh? And then I'll make sure I'm not skipping anything on you guys, because I did this. It took me like 4 or 5 times to get this right. So up, down, up, and then you'll see, oh, it says again, yep, I forgot. You'll see the two little tick marks, which will be a constant. And then within 5 seconds, and while the motor is moving, again, you press the throttle in and out. So again, that's pretty important. So 2 switches, hold them, turn the switch on, up, down, up. While the motor is making noises, you need to quickly press the throttle in and out. And then what will happen is those 2 little tick marks, the constant marks, will turn to N. Okay, so it'll become N. For the first time, you'll see the lovely N, which if you're like me, you were like, oh, thank God, I'm getting closer. But you're not done yet, guys. This process that Honda makes is even more of a pain in the neck. So again, here it tells you to raise the thing up, remove the rear wheels. Don't remove the rear wheels. I don't know who the heck came up with that crap. That's a waste of time. But anyway, so now here's an important step. Make sure the gear shift lever's in neutral. Make sure you're in 2-wheel drive. Flip your switch to ESP. Okay? And now, here comes another step. Now that you've done all that, you're in 2-wheel drive, you're in ESP, you're gonna turn the ignition switches on while again holding the up and down switches. Again, that N is gonna blink. Okay, so immediately, so as soon as you turn it on, and as soon as you see that N, you're gonna press up, down. No, sorry, you're gonna press up, up, down, down, okay? Sorry. So again, press the 2 buttons, flip the switch on, you'll see the N blinking, okay? And then you're gonna quickly press up, up, down, down, up, up, down, down, okay? So it's different. First time we did it was up, down, up. Now it's up, up, down, down. Okay, then you should see that the N will blink and it'll become the 2 little tick marks again. You're gonna start the engine and you're gonna move the gear shift lever to the drive position. Again, you should be on a jack at this point. So then flip yourself up. You should be able to go through all your gears and you should be able to flip all the way up to the 5th gear. And you'll see 5 and the little tick marks will be blinking alternately, sorry. And then you want to move your throttle lever and you want to keep it between 20 and 22 miles per hour. What will happen now is the 5 will stop blinking and it'll just show 5. Now you know that it's complete, and that's it. So that's a little bit of a complicated process, but that's how you get everything all in sync and working correctly. And at this point, you won't be stuck in 1st gear. Oh, and you won't be sounding like a big pile of crap when you're trying to go in reverse and dying out. The reason why it's doing that is because that is Honda's safe mode, just for a matter of information. So all of this was pulled directly out of the manual. So you guys should have everything that you need. Again, here's the troubleshooting chart for your reference. Wish you guys luck. If you have any questions, drop them in the chat box, and I'll be happy to try to help. If you are new to my page, please click subscribe and like this video. It helps me out tremendously as I continue to grow my page, and it allows us to get this video bumped up so that we can help the next person in line. You guys rock. Until next time, we'll see ya.